Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. At CES 2020, Alienware unveiled a brand new handheld gaming system. Let's get started. So if you're looking at the system behind me and thinking, wow, Nintendo released a Switch with a D-pad. No, that's not the case at all. This is the Alienware system called the Alienware UFO. Does this work like a Nintendo Switch? Does it have detachable controllers? Can you play it in handheld mode? Can you dock it? The answer is yes. The big difference between this and the Nintendo Switch is that the Alienware UFO runs Windows 10. So in a nutshell, it's basically a PC version of the Nintendo Switch. So we know a lot about this system, but we don't know a lot about the system at the exact same time. We can see how it functions, how you play the game, how the controllers detach, what kind of games it runs, but at the same time, we really don't know what's under the hood. Sure, this is running Windows 10, but we don't know what processor is in it, we don't know what GPU, how much RAM it has, how long the battery is, if this thing heats up, or how practical it is. There's a very detailed article, well, as detailed as we can get at this time, featured on CNET. I'll leave a link in the description below, and that is what you see here. There are some people very excited about this. If this is running Windows 10, then maybe you can use your Steam library and take all of those games with you on the road. And there are some people who are very apprehensive about it, and I'll get to that in a minute. So let's take a quick peek at this. Now, first and foremost, we can see the Joy-Cons and the screen, and I guess they're not called Joy-Cons, that might be an issue, so whatever they're called, we can see the detachable controllers, and one thing I immediately like about this is the fact that there is a D-pad. Nintendo, if you're watching this, please put a D-pad on one of your Joy-Cons, make it an option, because myself and millions of other gamers out there would really like that. But moving on, let's take a look at a few more of these photos. First and foremost, the Joy-Cons, or the controllers, do look a little different than the Joy-Cons. They are shaped slightly different, which might actually be good for ergonomics. In my opinion, it looks like it will be easier to hold than the Nintendo Switch. I can see the controllers kind of function as handles at the exact same time. They give your hand something to hold onto, which the Nintendo Switch lacks. On the top, I can see a USB-C port and a headphone jack. The entire back panel of this functions as a kickstand. I actually think they execute this better than the Nintendo Switch does. This kickstand looks a heck of a lot easier to use and a lot more functional. When the controllers are detached, the centerpiece here functions as a battery. And maybe I've missed it, I didn't read it anywhere, but I don't know if these operate separate from being detached from the battery, or if they have to be attached to the middle battery piece. Now zooming in on this, on the bottom, unless I'm missing it, I don't see a space for expandable storage, but that may change because this is just a prototype. Now while this looks really cool and it looks like it does some things better than the Nintendo Switch, there are some people who have some major reservations about this. A few of the major concerns about this surround cost, battery life, and game performance. So first, I do want to talk about game performance. Alienware has stated that this will play AAA games. The games highlighted here are Mortal Kombat, F1 2019, Rocket League, and World War Z or World War Z. If I take a quick peek at F1 2019 here, scroll down to the system specs that are required in order to run this game, and here's what we get. An Intel i3 and an AMD FX 4300, and those chips were released around 2012. On top of that, the GTX 640 or the HD 7750 are nowhere near top of the line GPUs. Now looking at Mortal Kombat 11, if I scroll down here and look at the minimum requirements, I can see an Intel Core i5 750 and an AMD Phenom 2 X4965, which I think came out before 2010. Now these system requirements are not demanding by any stretch of the imagination. Is that an indication of what CPU or GPU is going to be in the UFO? No, not really, but it does show that the games that they're running on the UFO right now aren't that demanding. Having full access to your Steam library on this, provided Steam is compatible with the UFO, is one thing. Being able to play the games in your Steam library at a reasonable frame rate and not in potato mode is something else. And now realistically, with the parts that you need to put in this in order to play those AAA games at decent frame rates, at decent graphics, is going to cost you upwards of $1,000. Potentially even more. And you can completely disagree with that, and I can tell you straight up that you'll be wrong. But there is a very, very slim chance I will be wrong, but who knows, because we don't know the hardware in this yet. All I can really say is this will probably cost more than the Nintendo Switch for a device that does arguably slightly more than the Nintendo Switch. But again, realistically, at the end of the day, we really don't know until they give us the full specs, the full pricing, and if this ever makes it to the shelves. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, and let me know what you think about the Alienware UFO in the comments below. Thank you everyone, take care.